actually love turkey gravy. For me, this is the most important part of the meal. I put it on everything. And I think that there are a few things that you can do with the preparation for this to make it the perfect gravy and not stress about it. I think people find this sometimes kind of stressful.
Well, yeah, because they remember their mother's insipid white gravy that went over everything.
Right.
And it had no taste. It was just like glue.
Exactly.
Not my mom's.
Right.
Not
mine either. My mother makes a delicious gravy. Mom, you make a great gravy.
My mother made delicious gravy, but she used the drippings in the pan.
Everyone should. And these are all things that every chef or any cook at home that's making Thanksgiving meal has all of these ingredients anyway. Because let's start down here.
Okay.
The first thing, the most important part of a delicious turkey gravy is making a turkey stock. So the first thing that we're going to do, we have the neck and the gizzards from the turkey.
Okay.
You add that
That looks like the other half of the stomach.
Yeah.
It was missing the neck, the liver.
Yep.
See, I never put the liver in my stock, but
it makes it, it even gives it a richer flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything else we have, the onions, if you want to help me add everything in, we've got onions, carrots.
One bay
You got it.
Peppercorns, very important.
Celery, onion, and then I like to add a little bit of chicken stock because this is going to give it even more flavor.
Oh, so you're adding stock to
I add
stock.
to the water. You can use all water if you don't have that, that's fine. But the more flavor you have in this, the better your gravy is going to be. So this is the point. Cook this for at least 2 hours.
I just cook it all morning long.
You can cook it as long as you want. You can forget about it.
Right.
The longer it cooks, the more
flame
flavor.
on the back of your stove, just keep it there.
Exactly, and it smells delicious.
Yeah, while your turkey is roasting.
The second most important part of a gravy is the thickener, making it that proper consistency.
So what do you do, a roux or a
I do
slurry?
a roux. You can do a slurry, and we have different options here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to make a roux, and this is so easy, and this is actually something that you can make ahead of time.
I'll make a slurry.
This is wondra, which I know you like to use for the slurry. I use butter. It's equal parts butter and flour.
And I use like 3 tablespoons of, for a large turkey, 3 tablespoons of flour and about a cup of water.
Yes.
You can use stock if you want it, cold stock though. Don't add hot stock to the flour.
And what we are both doing is dissolving the flour.
Right.
If you put flour directly into a hot liquid, it's going to separate and clump, and it's not going to thicken. So the point is, whether you're making a roux or a slurry, you can make this with cornstarch, and it's equal parts cornstarch and water.
I like flour better for
turkey.
turkey.
I do too. And it cooks down. I mean, it's going to give it a better...
Am I going to use that, or
well,
are you
we're
going to
deglaze this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make the roux. And the way you do that, you take a stick of butter, and then you whisk in your flour.
And cook until it's...
And you cook it. You can cook it for 5 minutes, or you can cook it for 15. The longer you cook it, the more flavor it has. It's going to have a nutty, sort of nice aroma, and it's going to add more flavor.
Should I add wine to this?
Yes, so we're going to deglaze our pan. This is the pan we use to roast the turkey in.
And we're using a very nice Pinot Grigio.
A nice, dry white wine.
Yes.
And that's perfect. This is where the flavor all comes from.
Yes. Now, how much?
That's good. Yeah. You can use half a cup, 3/4 of a cup, and you're just going to cook that down and scraping as you go, because this is what makes it so good, and it gives it that darker color.
Yes, you don't.
Okay, so let's turn this up and get this boiling. What we can also do is add the drippings to this.
Oh, yes. So this is a very useful tool. This is one of those fat separators. So what you're going to be pouring out, you can watch. There's the fat on the top, about 1 inch of fat, and below is the lovely liquid that came out of the pan, the meat juices. And when you pour, look what's pouring. It's the meat juices, not the fat.
Exactly.
And so we're going to just keep. How many of you have these at home? Not very many.
These are key. This is so important.
This is so good to have.
It's true.
See, I'm still pouring just meat juice rather than fat. See, the fat is still there, 1 inch of fat. Oh! There are tools out there that help you, and this is one of them.
That's true.
Okay, so I got most of that out.
Okay, that's perfect. So then to this, we have this is, cooked down for 2.5, 3 hours.
Both of those on? Yes.
And then strained. So this is the strained turkey stock.
Yes.
Okay, and so to that, I'm going to add in here.
Okay. So we're making a lot of gravy.
Yeah,
but you love gravy. Yeah.
I know. I mean, if you're going to use it on everything, and if you're cooking for a lot of people, you want to make sure there's enough.
So are you going to use roux in this one or slurry?
We're going to use roux.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Well,
unless you want to use a slurry.
Nope.
We have both. Okay. So once this comes to a boil, which it's not yet, but we can go with it. we're going to,
It's almost boiling.
yeah, it's close. You can whisk in the roux. This is a room temperature roux. And this is
So it got a darkish color.
yeah, this got cooked for about 15 minutes, and it's got a nice, if you smell it, it's got almost got like a nutty scent to it. So then if you don't mind whisking while I put this in. And as you whisk and put that in, it's not going to clump up the way you would if you just tried to put flour directly in. As this boils down, that's what's going to make it thicker. That's going to give you that nice consistency. So you can start with using about 2 or 3 tablespoons. As you go, you can add more, depending on how thick you want your gravy. If you make it too thick, it's fine. Just add a little bit more stock to it and thin it out. And you can do this ahead of time. You can have it, you can refrigerate it even a day ahead of time. And then when you're ready to serve it, put a little stock in it and loosen it up.
But we will strain this.
Yes. And that's what we have here. We have a strained, here, I'll take that. We have a strained gravy here.
Beautiful gravy.
Yes. So once you have that, this is perfect. You can just, you don't need to do anything else. If you want to add more flavors to it, there are options, of course. You can use sauteed mushrooms.
Now look, isn't that beautiful? Now that's what I don't know if it was gravy, but today in the newspaper, the addition of chanterelle, just a few chanterelle. Are these cremini and chanterelle?
These are mixed mushrooms.
Should I put those in?
No, why don't we deglaze the pan with a little madeira?
Oh, okay.
This is going to give it even more flavor. I mean, and that's, you know, again, you can just serve this just like it is. But if you want to add a little punch to it, you can do a little, go with it. You can use herbs, which we have fresh herbs, parsley, chives, tarragon. We have one with cognac and a little grainy mustard and a little touch of heavy cream.
And now this can go into the gravy?
And then that can go straight into the gravy.
Okay, so here we go with our beautiful sauteed mushrooms and herbs into the gravy. And you have a spectacular addition to the Turkey Day dinner. This is really great. Thanks, Sarah, for all the hints and tips.
Thank you for having me, of course.
And now you don't have to be afraid of your gravy.